And we are live, everyone. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be back after a bit. Sorry, I've been a bit sick lately. So, how is everyone? Anyway, you know who I am. I'm the Old Hunter. I've been a while.
The 19 Soulsborne martial arts expert and dinosaur enthusiast.
And I'm a friendly neighborhood unjust comic dubber. I'm the Darkest Soul VA.
And looks like we're going to be basically talking about 5 things today, I believe, gentlemen, if I'm correct.
I would say 4, but yeah,
Well, 4 things. Oh, I was one over it.
Mm-hmm.
But today we've got some interesting news. 3 of them will be FromSoft related, and one of them is a game that's unrelated to FromSoft. Correct, gentlemen?
Right.
Yep.
So why don't we just before we do that, I want to ask you guys how's your day been so far?
It was good. I mean, other than the fact that I got sick as well, and me and my father, but I'm better now. So is he.
Oh, sorry to hear about that, mate. Trust me, it is never good. It's never nice getting sick.
It really isn't.
Yeah, it's not really fun. My mother, brother, and father got COVID, and kind of sad because my brother wanted to spend more time with his nephews, and with him being sick, it was kind of a bummer that he couldn't spend time. Oh, he's in the military, so he's in and out.
Sorry to hear. Ouch. It is not good.
Yeah, but once this all clears up, more time in the future, I hope.
That's true. And I'm glad. I'm sorry to hear about that, Darc, and I'm glad that I'm sorry to hear about your brother too, my friend. So anyway, we've got some interesting news. Like I said, 3 of them related to From's games, and one of them to another series I'm always dabbling into sometimes, but was worth interesting take, if you agree, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's begin the news.
Roger that. Let's get right into the news.
Okay, Keemstar.
Oh, thanks.
I love you too.
All right. Without further ado, gentlemen, today's first article will be discovering that Elden Ring's developer's next game is almost finished. Plenty GameSpot news.
The fact that Elden Ring got so much hype for ages ago is kind of interesting, right? Remember all the hype? Oh boy! So I wonder what their next game is.
Mm-hmm. From Software is almost done with his new game. Assassin's Creed developers revels the new horses are actually Twisted Humans and Halo Master Chief Collection cosmetic microtransactions being explored by 343. Mention that. Interesting. Well, From Software's Miyazaki revealed in an interview with 4Gamer that an unannounced project is in the final stages of development. This project is described as a more abstract fantasy that uses ideas that don't quite fit into the usual Souls-like adventure template, but regardless of what is being worked on, Elden Ring will still continue to receive support in the future, although Miyazaki mentioned that he wasn't ready to reveal what fans could expect to see next.
Isn't that the case with Miyazaki? He likes teasing us a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't like to give out spoilers.
He's teasing.
Elden Ring DLC. Elden Ring DLC.
I think
Elden Ring DLC.
Elden Ring DLC. Well, we should be in a cult now because we're just saying Elden Ring DLC.
Yep. Former Ubisoft developer Charles Randell tweeted, "The horse in AC1 is just a twisted, effed up human skeleton because our toolchain only worked with Biped in 3ds Max. Cheers to the amazing animators and riggers that managed to make the guy look like a horse." Randall also revealed that the character of Malik, who only had one arm, Ubisoft didn't have the budget for custom skeletons, so the solution was to turn his extra limb inside out and push it into his abdomen.
What?
Gruesome.
Huh. I guess they didn't have much to say about the whole... I guess they were... I hate it when they do this, right? They just basically say, they add the big news. Everybody's saying, like, Elden Ring. Oh, look, there's Elden Ring news. So they'll click on it, and then when they read it, there's two other unrelated things. You just hate it.
Always. Always. We're getting clickbaited.
Yes, we got clickbaited again.
And this goes on to how 343 Industries has confirmed that there's something with the Halo Master Chief Collection, but I don't think we need to worry about on that.
Not our problem, since we're not. I've never played a Halo game, so I have no stakes in it.
It's just, I feel like there's a Master Chief Collection coming out every 2 weeks.
At this point,
sadly, that is the truth.
At this point, Microsoft is just treating Master Chief as its baby these days. It's basically, let's face it.
Well. Without further ado, gentlemen, shall we go on to the next article of how Elden Ring producers want to work with fantasy author Brandon Sanderson?
For the record, this news is about 2 months old, so it's a little bit old. But we didn't talk about it because I only found it like last month, but because of things I wasn't able to talk about it. But now that I've got the opportunity, I want to talk about this because this is interesting news. Because we see what happens when from work an author like George R. R. Martin. So I'm curious to see what they would do with another author.
According to the article, Elden Ring is one of the buzziest games of the moment, created by From Software, the studio behind dark fantasy games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, in collaboration with A Song of Ice and Fire author George R. R. Martin. The game is getting rave reviews across the board. It sure is. It takes the difficult, immersive gameplay that From Software is famous for and situates it in a massive, brooding fantasy world, and the result is sensational. A while back, the Stormlight Archive author Brandon Sanderson expressed his dismay over the fact that From Software has chosen to work with Martin rather than him on the project. And then he goes on to clearly say, "Let me be salty," Sanderson said. From Software decides to make a fantasy game and partner with a fantasy novelist, and they choose someone who spends his days blogging about the NFL rather than a person who has played their games since King's Field and has listed their games as among his top 10 consistently over time. What are you thinking, people?
What? What is this?
I think someone is jealous.
Yeah, I would be jealous too. The fact that if I was I'm for the sport as I am, I'm basically writing my first book. That if I was basically like, how do I put this? If I was basically just like sitting here and just like saying, "Hey, I've enjoyed the games. Let me work with you guys," and then they choose with someone who hasn't played their games, I'd feel a bit salty too. Wouldn't you, boys?
Well, I feel like they're probably looking at someone's reputation, so they probably work with J.R.R. Martin because he has a reputation with his series. So I think From Software is trying to reach a broad. So I don't know the comparison, but I can understand how that can be annoying, sure. But I think From Software is looking at the long game, Let's be frank, if Tolkien was alive, they'd beg him to work with him. They'd beg him to work with them.
Oh yes,
since let's face it, it would be really interesting. If Tolkien teamed up with From, it would have been super cool. Heck, Steven Spielberg. Go on.
If they made a Lord of the Rings From Software game, I would just literally be in that all my life.
Yeah, I think I would too. Wonder what they would do to Sauron.
Sauron's the final boss.
Well, I know, but I wonder how they would just take it. I wonder what formula they would put into it.
He'd be like a
gimmick. Okay, maybe the first form is basically his tower form. It's sort of like a pseudo demon, the demon king, the dragon king, sort of from Demon Souls. I keep forgetting. And the first form is that gimmicky fight, and then the second form is just basically a good old one-on-one showdown.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely see that being possible. So the article then continues on with another quote saying they went to George Martin and made a game with George, and I'm like, George doesn't play video games. George has no idea. Oh boy. Sanderson was clearly joking around, although there was some truth behind his words. Unlike Martin, who by his own admission is not really into video games, Sanderson is an active gamer who has played just about every From Software title out there.
Yes.
Yes, there.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is, you can feel the salt coming off him. The fact that he's like so jealous that basically like, let me put this. He's basically saying, "Hey, I play video games and I played all your games, so let me play. Let me do a game."
And it goes to name dropping Kingsfield, which came out on the original PlayStation all the way back in 1994. Certainly establishes some nerd cred, to be honest.
If
Apparently, someone was paying attention.
I gotta say this, if you play, go on.
I was about to say, I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm special for being a Demon Souls original Souls player. People, Kingsfield, I'm just like blown out. I'm like, bye.
Yeah, I think. You know what From should do? Just because they can do it, because they own the IP. You know what they should do? Even though the games are like decades old, there seems to be a resurgence of just playing really old games in modern day consoles, right? So
Yeah.
I think what From should do is basically take the Kingsfield series and just zhuzh it up with a HD remake, which is the HD game. Kingsfield Collection, just like sell it for $20.
Master Chief Edition.
A Master Chief Edition. Oh boy.
But still, you gotta say that, like, it would be interesting, right? If they just like publish their own games.
Jesus Christ. Hello? Spam call. Dang. Sorry.
Put your phone on mute. That was
So sorry.
Ugh, sorry, music just puts me off whenever it's on a stream because I don't know what's called. Because I have no idea if this will thing, but you know.
My bad.
No worries, just. Sorry, you know how YouTube is sometimes. That basically something like this could happen. It could spell the doom for me.
Don't worry, it's not anything bad. It's just a ringtone.
I don't know if jingle do it though. Like that's like a generic jingle.
Yeah, that is the generic jingle.
True. But anyway, back on topic. It's like, do you think like that could work? Like, do you think that if they re-release their own Kingsfield games, heck, even the Tower series, it would sell a little bit? Like,
I want that
It
10.
would. I think it would to like us because there is a certain extent of like some diehard fans of the Kingsfield series, of which I do know, and that they take their like Kingsfield games way seriously, and I think it would sell to really hardcore fans of that series, but to a general exterior thing, I don't think it would make that much money. But I think it would bring a smile on all the nostalgic fans who played that game.
Let's face it. I think there's also this little issue that because you know how basically people think, oh, From made the Dark Souls, which means it's gotta be good. I've seen the gameplay. Kingsfield is as primitive as it can get for a game.
Well, I mean, yeah. You gotta admit it came out in 1994.
Also, well, and here's another thing: From Software is not perfect with some of their old games. So, like, if they were to like, hey, we're rebooting an old game called Ninja Blade. If you know, you know.
I know that game. That basically the game that was competed between it and Demon Souls. And yeah, we know as future nerds who won that battle. It had the Moonlight Greatsword in it, but that doesn't give it points. Does anybody even remember? Does even anybody remember Ninja Blade? Because I certainly don't.
Yes. It was an Xbox game.
Of course. Anyway, continue.
Apparently someone was paying attention, but because the publisher behind From Software's games reached out recently to let Sanderson know they were interested in working with him too. So I think we have a live with Brandon's thing here, but I'm not going to play that for copyright reasons.
Thank you.
So it's while recording a live stream on his YouTube channel to discuss one of his recent Kickstarter secret projects, Sanderson opened an eldenring gift box he had received from Bandai Namco, the company which publishes From Software's games. In it was a map of the Eldenring region, of the lands between a piece of lore, in a wax-sealed envelope, a woodcut portrait of the boss Millennia, a cloak, and a full-sized sword. Wow. It was a total surprise for Sanderson, who knew that Bandai Namco was sending him something, but expected it might just be a complimentary copy of the game.
I think he got every From Software's fans' wet dream come true.
See, I'm not going to try to sound salty or whatever, but the map, considering From Software has to keep on updating the map every update, that map's probably going to be outdated.
Well, I mean, it is a collector's piece if you think about it. It's a collector's piece.
It is collector's
No, I
piece.
know. It's just I'm just thinking about all the map changes. You're like, wow, I want to go here on the map. Wait a minute, it's been changed.
It's also, I guarantee you this, that basically everybody, be careful, that everybody's basically just going to spoon, oh, he got a picture of our waifu, Melina. Oh.
That's not much. I would rather have let me solo her, honest.
Right? No, let me tell you something about Millennium. It's so hilarious. Like when we first saw like the promo stuff, it's like, wow, look at the wife of Millennium. You find that big, stupid, ugly guy, and then you find out the lore of Radon, and you're like, dang, this guy's a chat.
Yeah, he sure is.
You walk away from that fight with all of your body parts in pain.
I'm just like, think about it, like with Chidon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're gonna have a festival just to, put him out of his misery because he was such a good guy and we liked him. Dang. Oh, I'm tying this battle. Let me just give you like super aids and nuke the continent. Well, geez, that's nice.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Was it that? Hang on. You meaning when she fought Radon? She basically, when that move she did with Radon, where she bloomed like a flower, she infected the whole area of that area.
Yeah, she turned Kale into what we see it as because of what she did.
Yikes! She's more powerful than we thought. I thought.
And of course, she's saying, "I've never known defeat." So you had to nuke somebody just to get away.
Yeah. She basically, I think,
world's worst president over here.
I think even she knew that Radon was more than a match for her.
Yeah, because why would you nuke him and then do that? And remember, what makes it even worse is that if you watch like the promo stuff of the Clean Rot Knights fighting Radon, what actually ended up happening is she nuked Radon and she got knocked unconscious, and the Clean Rot Knights had to get her out of there. So Radon was still standing. Get this.
So she technically
knocked herself out.
She lost. She didn't die, but she still technically lost.
She would have been eaten by crazed Radon if the Clean Rot Knights didn't bail her out, and she's still going around, I'm undefeated. Really? Well, what was that on your record? Do you consider that a win?
Hey, did you? Let's also. Hey, just a quick side note. Did you see JC Music's "Let Me Solo Her" music video? Just out of you two curious.
Yeah. Oh yeah, JT Music's "Let Me Solo Her." Mm-hmm. It was good.
I guarantee you'll never find a community like this anywhere else outside the Soul series. Like this whole ridiculousness half of the time.
Yep.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's just so funny just seeing looking back modern day and just looking back at the old promo, like thinking, wow, it was so cool back then, right? We were just speculating, who was this? We got some things right, we all thought Melania and Radon were somehow related because they both had red hair.
Yeah, they both have the same daddy.
Mm-hmm. Ironic. Anyway, let's see what this continues.
Yes, the article then continues on with as he was going through the items in the package, one of the team members helping him record the live stream video jokingly asked if this was From Software's way of saying sorry for hiring George R.R. Martin for Eldenring instead of Sanderson, to which Sanderson replied that the company made the right call in hiring Martin. So at least he does know that they do some good.
Yeah.
That was when things got interesting, as Sanderson was instructed by one of his assistants to read the note that came with the package. The author didn't read the whole thing on the live stream, but it paraphrased that they are interested in perhaps doing something together, is what that says, which I am as well. Interesting. Sanderson revealed that he actually already even had a game idea he would want to pitch the studio. This is how I roll. I actually have a pitch for them in the back of my head, so I may have to send them my pitch and see what they think. The author outlined his process for developing his pitch idea. If I were ever going to do a Soulsborne game, what would I do? You guys know what happened when I thought, I wonder what I would do if I ever wrote a Magic the Gathering story. I spent 4 years developing a Magic the Gathering story, so when Magic contacted me and said, hey, do you want to write a story? I'm like, yes, I already have one, and I will write it, the author said, referring to it in the tie-in novel he wrote for Wizards of the Coast in 2018, Children of the Nameless.
Wow. So, it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whether this partnership being... Oh, sorry. You may continue?
Let me read this little part. Whether the partnership between Sander's son and From Software comes to fruition, we'll just have to wait and see. And honestly, I want to see.
Yes.
I generally want to see.
I'm definitely looking forward. Yeah. Whether this partnership between Sanderson and From Software comes to fruition, we'll just have to wait and see. Mm-hmm. The article then continues on with other Elden Ring news. The Book of Boba Fett star Ming-Na Wen recently featured in a live-action trailer for the game. It shows the actor checking items off her bucket list until she arrives at Seek the Elden Ring. She then fiercely recites a bunch of jargon from the game, which, while scenes of various monsters and battles play out on screen. It's a little cheesy, but hey, 'tis all in good fun. Ming-Na Wen played the Book of Boba Fett's most badass character, and we certainly would want to face her in the lands between or anywhere else. Elden Ring is out now, so if you feel a need to beat your head against the most difficult and epic game on the market, you need to only take the leap and descend into madness.
I think trailers are safe. From Software trailers are completely safe, right? Where do we watch that? Because it would be interesting. I never saw that trailer. So put that one on.
Look, people who say that Elden Ring is hard haven't discovered bleed builds yet. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, they haven't discovered bleed builds yet.
I knew bleed builds, but I didn't want to play that one because it was everything. I'm not the sort of person that does everything, same thing that everybody does. You know how I am, guys.
Oh, Jetstream's hand would be pleased. Oh, boy.
Speaking of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, the game's been getting a lot of hype these days, hasn't it, ironically?
Yeah, it's been getting a lot more love. I think people are starting to realize its brilliance, especially within the music.
I had a friend who said he didn't like it, but I want to see him now saying who's having the last laugh.
That game's priceless.
Mm-hmm.
Or priceless.
It is. It's a gem that basically was set up for a sequel, but because Kojima left Konami, I want to say the words, but I don't. It won't happen. I want to say the words, but I don't want them to get the copyright strike, and I don't want to demonetize this video.
I'm about to sing the song. I gotta hold myself back from singing the song. We all know the song.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, want to watch that trailer? Let's actually no. Do you want to watch the trailer, or do you want to watch it? I'm leaving it up to you guys.
I believe what trailer are we talking about here?
The one that's on the link to the YouTube video.
Well, I mean...
Nah, never mind. We can skip on
Let's get on to the next article. All right. Now, this one is a good one. Sony is leaving money on the table with Bloodborne. Oh, boy.
Cleric beast noises.
Yes, cleric beak noises. It's always interesting to see how a company engages with its fans, even if the best advice would not to be... Oh, sorry.
I want to say a quote from Bloodborne. Grant us eyes, so we may escape our bestial nature. I wanted to just say that. Carry on.
All right. It's always interesting how a company engages with its fans, even if the best advice would not to be look too deep into it. For an example, the first release of Morbius turned into a bunch of memes. And it's not exactly because the movie had that many meme-worthy scenes. It just took off thanks to internet randomness, and Sony decided to re-release Morbius in theaters at our result. Meanwhile, there was a member of... Oh, sorry.
The difference between Morbius and Bloodborne is one is bad, the other is actually a masterpiece.
I think that's very common. I think that's very, very noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there were a number of fans who didn't believe the Last of Us remake rumors simply because the game doesn't necessarily need the facelift. The remastered version holds up pretty well, but lo and behold, they are getting a Last of Us PS5 remake.
What is... why are they... I'm going to ask this question. I've asked this question a bit of times. Why are they remaking a game that's not even 10 years old?
Money and cloud, baby.
I'm going to say this right now. I never liked the Last of Us series, and I'm one of the people who says it's a bad series.
I like The Last of Us 1. I don't like The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, The Last of Us... Ask me, it's basically a generic zombie apocalypse. You could change the names and change how it is, but it's zombies. Zombies. The Last of Us 2, I could... Mm-hmm.
Is Bloodborne 2015?
Yes.
Yes.
The Bloodborne is actually almost 10 years old, like 7 years old.
True. But there's also the fact that basically, you know what I hate? What people just basically say about how, it's deep and complex. You know, it's not. It's shallow. It's big, but it's only got the depth of it's only the depth of a puddle.
True.
It's true. I get flack for every time I said this. I basically said, I'm controversial opinion. I don't like the boys.
Because it's just edgy Superman?
No, it's because everybody's an asshat. And
angry Homelander noises intensify.
I'm going to get crucified for this one. Not only that it's just basically evil Superman, which we've seen a dozen times, it's also the fact that...
I prefer more of an Invincible than I do The Boys, but The Boys is also pretty good. I mean, I like Homelander. I mean, he's very, very good at being a villain. I like him.
That's fair enough, but I don't like him because I get that's the point of his character, but if you personally ask me why I don't like him, he's an ass constantly. I can't... And, okay, as villains, they're fine. They're fine if they're asses of villains because you're going to try to... Because they're working just... But when he's the main character, it always puts me off of watching it because it just means I have to sit there for 23... How long is The Boys again? An hour long?
Yeah, I would say into that hour long, yeah.
An hour-long series, basically sitting there and watching an unlikable person just doing unlikable things. I get it, that's the story, but it's not my cup of tea. I like Invincible compares because it's subtle. It's more mysterious and why Nolan did what he did. At least he wasn't an asshat all the time. That is that.
Yeah.
I haven't said my opinion on The Boys. This is the first time I'm mentioning The Boys on my... Since you guys brought it up, I had to say my opinion. But if I said that out on my Twitter, I'm going to basically get every person saying, you just don't like it because you don't get the complexity. It's I don't know. I get flack for... I have seemed to have some of the most controversial opinions. Like I said, I don't like The Last of one or two because I find them just miserable people being miserable, and there's no liking to that. I especially hate 2 because it's basically everybody's unlikable, and I feel like this is just basically the thing of where there's... Ellie! It's not how she looks, it's how she acts that gives me my headaches. She's just, like, mean. She's just, like, cruel because everybody is cruel. Like, yeah, but most of them actually want to survive, and all you're doing is just killing people. There's a bit of a difference. Hey, can I play the other people because they seem more likable? Am I wrong, Green? Am I wrong for saying that?
No, you're not wrong. Neil Druckmann really fucked himself in that one.
Saying that because of the scene he had.
Yeah!
And here's the big question. Here's my big question. Did they really need to in the beginning, in the first game, spoilers, but I don't freaking care, that in the first game, when they had to basically say they had to kill Ellie in order to get the cure, really? I think she's more valuable alive than dead, don't you think? Like, couldn't they just, extract her blood for the whole thing? Like, why they had to kill her?
Story needs to happen.
Cliche story.mp4 needs to happen.
How about this, gentlemen? How about this, Naughty Dogs? If you're listening to here, hire me as a writer because
I wouldn't go that route if I were you.
Here's a little... Oh, I'm going there. Here's a little bit FYI.
Oh, boy.
How about you just make a game that basically has a nice... You know what? I'm going to say it. I think From's better when they make new games instead of sequels. I like Dark Souls 3, but And I like how it innovated the series, but one had better level design and complexity in its level design. You get what I mean?
We already know that everyone knows this.
Everyone does.
How about this, Naughty Dogs? How about you basically make the game so that basically at the end there's a happy ending, and then you make a new IP? Well, yes, it's basically too, but you just basically made that horrible ending because you needed to wait for a sequel hook, and because Daddy Sony was cashing your checks.
Mm-hmm.
I get.
Here's a real kicker, though. Mm-hmm. I rather play Dark Souls 2 instead of The Last of Us 2. Oh!
I mean, Dark Souls 2, is rough around the edges, but it has some good things going. Like, the Fume Knight is an absolute legend.
Okay, I'll grant you that, Darc. If I was to choose between the two of them, I'll play Dark Souls 2 over The Last of Us. I guess I'm going to be having my crucifixion soon.
Off with his head!
Why? Why? Because I just basically because, I don't know, something like The Last of Us just puts me off. Anyway, continue.
Continue with the art. Meanwhile, there were a number of fans who didn't believe The Last of Us remake rumors simply because the game doesn't necessarily need a facelift. The remaster version holds up pretty well, but lo and behold, they aren't going to need a Last of Us PS5 remake. All of this amounts to the little, but interesting to see all of this happening, and nothing happening with Bloodborne. Yes, it very is interesting.
Remind me which game sold the console for the PS4 again?
Bloodborne.
Correct.
I think Bloodborne outsold The Last of Us, but it was pretty close. Or at least we're talking about Last of Us 1.
I still prefer playing this over that.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I think we all do. All right. The article then continues on with, although it was developed by From Software, it's worth mentioning that the rights to Bloodborne are owned by Sony. This means any decisions for it rest solely on Sony's shoulders, even though there are constant rumors about a Bloodborne PS5 upgrade. Please let that be true. Remaster or reboot, as well as constant demand for a Bloodborne PC port. Thank you!
Okay, I would be down for a Bloodborne PC port. Raise your hands, or basically say "I" if you agree with that.
Let them very much like that. Have it. They got God of War. Let them have Bloodborne.
You know what? Let it have 60 frames per second, because then, finally.
Yes. Nothing has concretely manifested yet. Despite Sony adventuring into the PC space and re-releasing Spider-Man for it this fall, and also releasing God of War on PC as well, there's been no notable traction on Bloodborne.
I don't know if you guys know this, but whenever I'm on Twitter, find this guy who basically says, as of note, Bloodborne has not been ported of PC. On this day, Bloodborne has not been ported to PC. Have you seen that guy around?
No, not recently.
No, I've been seeing him constantly on my... Sorry, my feet got a little burnt for some reason. It feels a little hurts a little bit.
I think YouTube's directly targeting you with those ads.
No, it's Twitter, not YouTube. Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the article then continues on with, Bloodborne still constantly trends online and is easily one of the most popular titles in From Software's catalog. Given Bloodborne is 7 years old now, this is saying something. It says a ton of people would play or pay for 60 FPS and other enhancements made to Bloodborne. I wonder why. But as it stands, nothing about the rumors of it existing seems true. When will it?
Blue Point, get on it.
Actually,
get on it. Go on. Go.
Actually, coincidentally,
I get to use on with saying some have suggested Blue Point Games was working on this, which makes sense as it did Demon Souls remake, but nothing really supports that.
Okay,
it could be because of the strange From Software Sony obligation, even if Sony owns the IP, as property rights are not exactly the easiest legal matter in the world. But if these constant demands, trends online, and reactions to every single Bloodborne PC and PS5 rumor show anything, It's that so many would gladly pay $70 to re-experience a more definitive version of this title. It's often hailed as one of the best games of the PS4 generation, so to see it on PC and PlayStation 5 seems like a no-brainer.
I think they should make a slight correction to that. It is the best.
What? It's one of the best games of all time, not just of the PS4 generation.
Yeah, it's one of the best games.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm going to hear naysayers, hey, it's so difficult. Well, then it's not for you, mate. You can't appreciate
It's
the game.
not for you. Get good, scrub!
Good. What are you saying, Green?
I was about to say, Bloodborne. Like, again, as was said earlier, when it comes to like From Software games, when From Software makes a new IP that, loosely the combat's based on each other, it's better than a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Let's face it, they did more with Elden Ring they could have done with the Souls franchise. Can you imagine from a Dark Souls 4 with sort of like Elden Ring? It would have been a massive departure. I know people were going to get criticizing it. This isn't Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do that. God forbid they actually had a jump button in a Souls game. Ooh!
Woo! Well, whatever potential difficulties there are, it seems Sony is leaving money on the table by not getting the most out of the Bloodborne IP.
I'm certainly not going to... This kind of reminds me of when... Wow, remember when... Oh God, I keep forgetting Horizon Forbidden West was a thing. I keep forgetting that game exists.
I forgot that they ever existed.
Yeah. Am I the only one that keeps forgetting that game exists until when I have to think about it?
No. I'm constantly forgetting about it too.
Were the devs mad at Elden Ring for some reason?
Oh, a couple of the devs were angry that it actually... not only the devs, but Sony fanboys were frustrated that how can it be a great game like Horizon because it does something different than an open world game does. Therefore it's bad.
Yeah, it broke the mold. It's simple as that.
And remember, if Sony didn't drop the ball with Demon Souls and said it was a bad game, all the From Software games would be Sony exclusive. Just remember that.
So yes, let's not forget that because I swear to this. I swear, and I think I'm going to quote someone else, but so let me know who I'm quoting. That I imagine when they went to Miyazaki about the Bloodborne 4, they brought a massive apology fruit basket saying, "We're sorry for me to start at your game, sir. Here you go."
Oh boy!
You didn't see my genius then. But fine, I'll make a deal with you. We'll make the next greatest one.
I guarantee you that if, let's face it, to answer your question, Green, a few devs were angry that were angry of Elden Ring's success because one was actually a guerrilla game. Two of them were actually part of the developers of Horizon, and one Ubisoft was one. Basically, they were complaining about how it was a while back, but one of them was complaining about how that the character side quests are on. There's no trackers of the side quests or anything like that, so it makes it basically difficult to do side content. But
I think we discussed this at some point. Like, okay, I will say shame on From Software for making quests a little bit too obtuse. Like, I beat a boss. Oh wait, all my NPCs died? Drat. Like, I feel like they could have done a bit better with that. But here's the thing, though. You can't really do quest markers for NPCs when there's 50 different outcomes based on what you do with them.
Yeah, so
true.
This is it. And I think the other one was the Ubisoft developer that basically complained about the menu system. But basically, it's not it wasn't exactly how he would do it.
Oh, yeah.
And then that created the meme of what Ubisoft would do with the interface of Elden Ring, and we all know how that went.
This one, re-Google it. I want to see what they said, basically, because I want to refresh in my memory.
You want to see the meme?
No. The developers complain about for Elden Ring. Just quickly do that while we just to freshen our memories up, shall we?
I got it. Guerrilla Games complaining
about
Elden Ring's success.
Yeah. I know this wasn't part of it, but I just thought, let's just do it.
Well, ain't this image say it all? Oh boy!
Find their tweet. We don't need to read all this through again. We could just basically find it. No, just on they probably linked the tweet on there.
Twitter. You know what? I'll just do it with this. All right. Oh wow!
Oh yeah, I forgot they locked their Twitter accounts after because of the fan. Basically, they couldn't. And I believe we said this last time. Shame on those who basically harassed them for no good reason. Shame on you. That this was basically you're not going to help the situation. You just made it worse. There's the tweet.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Here it is. One complained about the menus, the other complained about the graphics, and the third one cursed about the quest design. I'm sorry that basically Horizon looks of... Go on.
Ahmed Salama, Rebecca Blake, man, you guys sure showed us. Oh boy, whatever would we do? Yeah, sure.
Rebecca actually unlocked her accounts and basically said that she's going to continue on regardless of the attack, regardless of the attack she gets. I'm not going to discount what she said. She probably did get attacked by quite a few people because you know how Twitter is, a toxic cesspool. Not even I have to admit that. But I think there's also some valid criticism saying like that graphics aren't everything. Eldenring's graphics look fine for what they are. They're not. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just wanted to just go down that memory lane. Let's head back to the original Sony thing.
Yes. So the article then continues on with The Last of Us Part 1, God of War on PC, Spider-Man on PC, and Morbius re-releasing in theaters all seem like odd decisions when viewed through a Bloodborne lens. After all, while all those are perfectly fine and fans are happy for the most part, the reaction to each is seemingly much less than the recent reaction to a fake Bloodborne announcement.
I think Sony's shooting themselves in the foot, not realizing that, hey...
Bloodborne is now available on for PS4.
Elden Ring features we want to see, and we'll go do that one next time. Send me that link afterwards. We could do that next week. I want to see what they're talking. Not that.
Oh, this one.
Copy it for now, and then we'll talk about that one later. I think we've had enough sidetracks for today.
Seems good.
Anyway,
now we're going to get something off of Bloodborne. Now we're going to get a little bit into Nier Automata.
We still have some things to discuss before we get onto that one.
Oh boy, what do you like to discuss now?
It's just like thinking, like, I was going to say, it's like, I think basically, Sony shooting themselves in the foot for not re-releasing the games, because I guarantee you, how many of us would rebuy the game for $20?
Third. What?
$20?
Oh, okay, $30.
Come on, 40. Bloodborne.
50. 40. Let's say 40 for the minimum.
So if they re-release Bloodborne like a remastered edition, see, if they allows you to have a discount if you own the original Bloodborne and you get an enhanced edition at discount, sure.
Speaking of which, speaking of unrelated news, anyway, the point I'm trying to say is that this is just so interesting, honestly. It's like, remember, like, oh my god, feels like my old self, let's say, I would have probably said, Bloodborne doesn't need a PC release, it's a PS4 exclusive. I think it should get a PC release.
Look, I think the reason why Sony's not doing it because they're going to realize that they're playing into FromSoft's hand. They're like, we shunned you once, and if we acknowledge that we made a mistake, we'll never hear the end of it.
Honestly, I think there's I honestly think that just...
that about 15 times already. Where's my Spider-Man 4 by Sam Raimi, you stupid motherfucker?
You? Language. I think one swear is fine enough, but 2 or 3 was enough. Is a bit much.
All right.
Anyway, I think we should wrap this up and have our final thoughts on this whole solution with the Nier Automata.
Nier Automata comes to a Nintendo Switch this fall. Some good news about it. So, Nier Automata will launch this fall for Nintendo Switch as Nier Automata: The End of Yorha Edition. Fuck, I'm going to probably butcher this game. Square Enix announced during Tuesday's Nintendo Direct third-party showcase. boy. The re-release of the acclaimed 2017 action role-playing game will include all previously released content, modes, and costumes, the publisher said. That apparently means the April 2017
Just say DLC add-on.
DLC add-on. What? Man, that's a really bad name.
Totaro was the one who named it, so blame the guy. Which I do, by the way.
Which added new costumes and customization options, new battle coliseums, and even boss fights, literally, against the presidents of Square Enix and developer Platinum Games.
As someone who's played the DLC, I can vouch for the fact that you do fight the both of them as a sort of pseudo final boss of the coliseums.
What?
Yeah, both the president of Square Enix and Platinum Games are in the game as bosses at the Coliseum.
Huh.
Oh boy.
This is as if Miyazaki decided to play a bit tongue-in-cheek with his fan base, which I'm surprised he hasn't done yet, to basically just put himself in the game as a cheesy boss, as a cheeky boss fight. Heck, maybe even side.
I am
sorry.
Blade of FromSoft, and I've only made pieces.
I was before we continue. I was looking up how many times I thought Yorha was released because it released on the PS4, got its Steam version, and then it came to Xbox as a diff edition, and then it's coming to Switch. That's about 4 editions.
Huh.
And for the record, I've seen posters of this thing, and I just basically said that, this is more hyped than Elden Ring got, and this wasn't even Nier's first release.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. The Nintendo Switch version will also get costumes exclusive to that platform. Nier Automata, the end of Yorha edition, will launch on October 6th.
That just doesn't seem to roll off the tongue. The end of Yorha edition. I prefer the what was the Dark Souls 3? The Fire Fades edition. That rolls off the tongue a little bit better.
Abyss Walker.
Anyway.
Nier Automata launched in late winter 2017 on PlayStation 4 and Windows PC, and was followed in 2018 by Nier Automata Become as Gods Edition for Xbox One. It's as a sequel to 2010's Nier, which was also re-released for PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One in April 2021 as Nier Replicant version 1.224487139.
Yeah, Yoko just likes basically having cholololos with his fans.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. We will see. But that's all the article then says.
Huh.
So,
a short article basically explaining how Yorha is getting its 4th edition released. By the way, the costumes are basically of 2B in a kimono and a fox mask. I think 9S is in a suit. Can't remember exactly, but I don't know. I feel like this is just basically, let's face it, I know this is not me, but I put only things I'm interested in the podcast, so you know how I am, guys. And like I said, guys, if you got something you want to talk about, feel free to post it in. I'll still be like myself.
Yeah, feel free to post it in. I would love to read off of it.
Or dinosaurs. I'll be pulling up scientific articles, and you see we have established that there is an Asaurus. This is actually a quadrupedic.
Quadrupedic. Oh boy. The new prehistoric planet, a version on Apple Plus TV.
For me, I was just thinking, I had a friend who basically discussed this whole thing, and for us, she basically explained to me why she likes Yoko's works, and I explained why I like Miyazaki. She likes Yoko's works because she integrates philosophy into his works. Like most of the bosses, I will say this, that she couldn't figure out why, but I didn't like any of the bosses in the game, are named after philosophers. Now, we have
philosophers. Interesting.
Yeah, I would say Google the names right now, but I don't know. But anyway, the point I'm trying to say is that basically, like, and I explained why I like is because Elden Ring, the more the Souls series tends to be more open-ended. We both agree on that, right?
Uh-huh.
Very much so.
Like, basically, we can
So
basically
the guidebooks come out and they tell you exactly what's going on.
well, they're still subject to opinion. You know what I mean? They're still vague. Let's face it there. And it's basically like, I like because how he tells the stories through his philosophy. I love his philosophy. He does put some tongue-in-cheek references to other things, let's face it, like, how do we put this?
Berserk.
Huh?
Berserk.
I think we can all agree he's the biggest Berserk fans, and I will still say this, that there should be a Berserk Souls-like.
But I feel like all of them are.
Aren't we all just a little bit of Berserk fans here?
Yeah. I only got into it recently, because I think you can get...
Oh, I've been a big fan of it ever since it was launched. I love it.
I never didn't think I'd get into it, but I said, you know how I am, a little bit iffy and if I'm into something. But since I like Souls, I thought, you know what? I'll give the anime a watch. I know I watched the CGI version, but honestly, from what I've seen, it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, but it's definitely inferior to the manga. I would rather you just read the manga.
If you can find me a good deal for most of the mangas, I will happily buy it.
Oh, don't worry. I would love to buy a bundle just for you, man.
You would?
Yes, I would. If I get the money for it.
I'm keeping it to your word. Note that he said that, gentlemen. I'm kidding. Anyway, like I said, I just like the ideas. It's fun, it's philosophical, and it's just basically what we enjoy. Plus the brutal deaths. I'm a bit nostalgic right now, basically, in how this all began. From Demon Souls till now. A long, arduous journey, right, guys?
Oh, yes, it's been quite a journey.
From a series that Miyazaki thought even Sony said was horrible, to the point where even the former head of PlayStation said that it was his greatest mistake to criticize Bloodborne, as Demon Souls as it is.
He didn't see the genius of it till it was too late. Now look at all the money. Look at it. Look at it go.
Look at it.
And like you said, Green, if Sony just stuck with From, I guarantee you that all the Souls would basically be on PlayStation now.
Until they cave in with God of War. Because I feel like if they cave in with God of War, they can do it with any other exclusive.
I made the joke of basically calling God of Souls for the lulz, but I think my comparison was more. I finally was able to play the first God of War, and it feels like Souls to me.
When you say first God of War, do you mean the actual first God of War, or you mean 2018 God of War?
2018 God of War. I played the original so long ago. I finally played.
Yeah. The fact that Santa Monica were like, hey, they literally took their old way of playing, which is like how do I best like hack and slash, like very.
Yeah, it was a hack and slash button masher. It was basically very tedious, but it was satisfying as hell.
Especially when you see Kratos rip something's head off.
Oh yes.
When you get the ungodly long combos of 1,000 hits of something, you're like, oh my god, what is this?
Funny enough,
oh my.
It's a power fantasy at its
It
finest.
Is. Yeah, but I think we've covered everything I wanted to talk about. And I gotta ask, what do you guys think? Your final thoughts on all this?
I think we just pretty much talked about everything.
Look, time you say Bloodborne for something, Cleric Beast noises. Like, if that doesn't show you how much we like not eldenring, Bloodborne, I don't know what else is. When you just devolve into mania when you hear that word.
I do.
I can't even go to trainings, right? Because like I go to trainings for like bloodborne pathogens, and each time I hear the word bloodborne or see the word, I legit have to like quell the cleric beast noise inside of me.
Like when I think
to the game.
I think we've had our fun with Bloodborne for so long. It's just like basically like, where would we be without it? I wouldn't have had my channel if I didn't have less into it. We wouldn't have met, have we? If for our love of the Soul series, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we wouldn't.
A lot of things.
A lot of things would have changed.
I probably would still be playing shooters just because I needed something fun, just a mind-numbing. But now I just enjoy basic. It's a sort of notion that you don't know what you want till you want it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I didn't know I wanted to play From Software games now because I thought they're not for me. But I sat down and played it. Now I love them. Anyway, I think that's everything for our little podcast tonight, guys. It's good to be back. Thankfully, I'm feeling a lot better now.
Good to be back.
I was horrible for 4 days. God. But I'm glad.
At least you're feeling better.
I am. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's stuck by it, and if you're watching it up to this point because you enjoy listening to podcasts in the background while you're just watching things, I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below, comments if your thoughts, and basically subscribe, and do check out Souls Knights of Green's. What was it again?
Wait, what do I do? You're saying what do I do?
No, check out his channel because he does excellent martial arts about Souls content and Souls weapons. Excellent, fun to watch, just seeing how he does it, and try do basically pledge to his animated project because I want to see that come to fruition, and I would.
Demon Slice, yeah.
Try to basically pledge to his Demon Slice because I want to see it come about. And if you enjoy comic dubs, my friend Darc is currently doing a comic dub of a fan comic of the Souls series. Dark Souls series.
Yes. It's working quite nicely too.
And I get to voice a character.
Animate the fight scene, and then I'll be done.
And
Chapter 5.
And I voiced one of the characters.
Animate the fight scene.
Anyway, trying to animate it a little bit. It's going to be hard though.
That's true.
So I know how to rotoscope, so I can do the basic frames. I'm not too good with drawing the characters over, but I know how to rotoscope.
All right, I'll contact you then soon after.
Well, thank you everybody for joining. If you enjoyed it, as usual, do follow me on my Patreon. I've got my Patreon down below. That's if you want to pledge, because you don't know how often that would help me a lot. I'm looking to get my pledge up, so if you want to pledge, even €1 a month could help me. Follow me on my Twitter and I'm gonna basically try to go streaming again soon. I've been a little off for a while, but I'm gonna try to get off to the habit of streaming again. So I'll repost my Twitch down below if you want. Oh, my Twitch is down below. So if you want to just follow me on there, so you can find out when I stream, that would be lovely. Any final thoughts, my gentlemen friends?
Umbasa.
Oh, no.
All right. You always have to say that at the end, don't you, Green? Anyway, have a nice day, everybody, and I hope you basically have a fun time.
Yep. Bye.
See ya.